Well now, there's a famished face if I've ever seen one. What can I get you this way? We brought you a massive bird. Can you cook it up? Oh, bird meat from the hunt, you say? Leave it to me, I have just the recipe. It's a new dish I recently learned from some sailors, and for you, Lord, it's on the house. Have as much as you like, you hear?
Come, come. Let's enjoy the bounty of our first outing together. I'd heard that Charlayan cuisine was terrible, but this is fantastic.
That's why you're at the last stand.
What is this? Oh, it smells spicy.
Oh, come now. Since when did you become so soft? It's not like we don't have spicy food in Tural, too.
Not that spicy.
According to Dickon, intensely hot dishes have become popular in Razadhan after a traveller ordered a curry with several times the usual amount of spice.
Oh, Zero.
So he started offering the same in order to please the growing Harnish population here in Charlayan.
It's nothing I can't handle.
Your boorish manners reflect poorly on the both of us. I wish you would consider your station.
I swear, sometimes it feels like you open your mouth only to criticize.
Would I be correct in assuming you've known each other for a long time?
Aye, thick as thieves since we were little.
I beg to differ. She is a long-standing acquaintance. Nothing more.
I see. I see.
All this time you were from Tural. Oh, would that I had known sooner. There's so much I'd like to ask.
You and everyone else. I've kept it quiet so as to avoid the endless interrogations.
Well, if he's going to be a miser, I'll be happy to tell you about our homeland instead. Since ancient times, many peoples have called Tural home, and they've been fighting each other for nearly as long. The fighting finally stopped some 80 years ago, when the reigning Dawn Servant unified the disparate communities and founded a new nation.
And that's how Tuliyolal came to be.
Since then, we've enjoyed an era of uninterrupted peace. But my father is getting old, and he wishes to relinquish the throne to a worthy successor. One who can preserve his legacy. Including myself, there are 4 claimants to the throne. But while we all have the right to participate, one among us cannot be allowed to rule.
A man who is too ambitious by half. Word of the Garlean Empire's collapse has reached Tural. While most are simply relieved, he sees weakness to exploit and would lead our armies across the seas on a campaign of conquest.
After everything my father has done to give us peace, he would drag us back into war. I can't allow it. No matter what, I must win this contest.
I understand your reasons. But this being an event that will dictate the course of your nation's future, is it appropriate for outsiders like us to be involved?
Oh, it's more than appropriate. The Dawn Servant himself expressly encourages it. The ruler of Tural must navigate the intricacies of myriad cultures, and there's no better way to prove oneself qualified to do so than to work with foreign allies. That's why I sought you out. Through our hunt, I've confirmed that you're a warrior of considerable skill, but more importantly, one of good character as well. And so I ask you, will you lend me your strength and help me win the throne of Tuliyolal? You don't need to decide right this moment. But I will need you if I'm to triumph over the competition. I'll stay here as long as I can while waiting for your answer.
In that case, allow us to prepare a room for you at the Baldessian Annex.
That's very kind of you. Oh, and one more thing. Once we finish eating, would you mind if I took the rest of the meat?
The Erenville face palming. Judging by Wuk Lamat's reaction, it appears Turali cuisine isn't excessively fiery. Whether Wuk Lamat has the making of a ruler, I couldn't say, but I do know that she deeply cares for her nation and her people. Whether you choose to help her, though, is for you and you alone to decide. Think on it well. Now then, it's past time I report our mission success to the guild shop. I would have done so sooner, except Her Highness needed to have a royal meal. I shall come by the annex later. Till then. A coming dawn. Well, I dare say we now have a fair grasp of Wuk Lamat's situation. Still, you've been afforded time to consider her invitation. Why not use it to learn more about Tural? Numenor is bound to have some information on the continent. Can't hurt. Quite right. Not only would it help you make an informed decision, but if you do choose to go, you would be better prepared for what awaits. Come, my friend, let's be off to the archives. Okay, let's look what books we find. Principles of Bloom Magic and Spell Acquisition. The origins of Bloom Magic can be traced back to the esoteric practices of a Valaki, a tribe in the distant continent of Tural. The tribe holds nature in the highest and is seeking to culture a spiritual connection with it. They have learned to harness the power of a wildlife around them. In exchange for teaching them the common tongue, I was permitted to live among them and train in their ways. Those days were some of the most grueling I remember, but they were tremendously rewarding. For instance, I had the privilege of visiting Lapis Canyon. It's so named for the cerulean deposit that wells up to the surface, turning the entire canyon a brilliant blue. Under Shaman's watchful eye, I finally managed to master Valaki's art and make the animal's power my own. As no name existed for it in the common tongue, I took the liberty of naming it Blue Magic. The reason I chose this color, as you will have doubtless gleaned, is for the significance it holds to the Valaki. I cannot think of a name more fitting to honor the people from whom this noble magic was born. Was this written by Martin, the Blue Magic trainer? because that sounded similar to the story he told. Even if Martin comes across as a bit shady from time to time. And selling a book would probably fit with his MO. Let us begin by comparing the geographical characteristic of the three great continents in Tural. The former stretches from east to west and lies entirely within the northern hemisphere. In contrast, the latter extends to the far reaches of both northern and southern hemispheres, and the difference immediately presents itself in the form of climate variance. Shifts in climate tend to be gentler when moving east and west, but harsher when moving north and south. Owing to this fact, longitudinal migration is far more common in history, whether it be by man, animal or plants. A case in point is the Alagans, who rose to power in Aldenard before advancing east into Ilzabad. Their movement would be mirrored thousands of years later by the Garleans. Meanwhile, although the disparate tribes of Tural waged war with one another for generations, stymied by the climate, none could make any great headways north or south. Tribes hailing from frozen lands withered beneath a desert sun, while those that thrived in open plains could not pierce dense jungle. Such was the way of it, until the leader of the Mamul Jah succeeded in bringing the continent under one banner. Given the land's divided history and the reason thereof, one cannot help but be in awe of this feat. Truly is a testament of the Autarch's greatness. Every land has given rise to unique wildlife, and the continent of Tural is no exception. Yet while some of our creatures have become a familiar sight in Eorzea, many and more exist that are rarely seen this side of the Indigo Deep. This tome introduces a select variety of species as described in the testimonies of sailors and adventurers. Alpaca. Accustomed to Tural's craggy mountain ranges, this four-legged beastkin has been domesticated for seemingly hundreds if not thousands of years. Their soft white fleece is highly prized by weavers, but their strong legs and sure-footedness make them capable beasts of burden. Wyvern? This ferocious scalekin is native to the dense jungles of Tural. The Mamul Jah have succeeded in taming them and utilize their prodigious strength for manual labor. Given their immense size and power, it could come as no surprise that the wyvern is also employed as a siege beast. Enemy fortifications cannot long withstand this horned brute's rampage. Valigamanda. Turali folklore holds that this bird-like creature is the mightiest of beasts and the very embodiment of nature's power. Whether it exists beyond myth, however, is uncertain. It was already name-dropped at least. We will probably encounter it. It's impossible to adequately discuss Eorzean cuisine without speaking of that land from which many of our modern-day staples hail, the far western continent of Tural. Ogre pumpkins, ruby tomatoes, even the ubiquitous popoto, these crops and more that regularly grace Eorzean dining tables trace their origins to the New World, as the place is known to most. The tale of his culinary immigration begins in the year 1498 of the 6th Astral Era, when a Lominsan sailor named Ketenram successfully traversed the Indigo Deep to arrive at the theretofore unknown continent. Ketenram spent several moons exploring inland, in the course of which he encountered the denizens of the sprawling nation of Mamul Jah. He was even granted an audience with their supreme leader, whose confidence he won along with permission to roam freely. Ketenram would return to Tural several times, but during his first expedition he charted the land and gathered myriad root vegetables and seeds to bring back to Limsa Lominsa. The most notable of these was the popoto, whose ease of cultivation and nutritional value saw it quickly spread to all corners of Eorzea. Produce was far from the only bounty of Ketenram's expedition to Tural. Many tantalizing recipes such as the bean-filled burrito and gripping legends such as that of a golden city reached our shores by way of his ship. To those outside of Ketenram's circle, Tural largely remains shrouded in mystery, yet its influence on our cuisine cannot be overstated. Many scholars, myself included, would relish a chance to immerse themselves in the culinary culture of that faraway continent. Having perused a wide selection of books relating to Tural, you are somewhat better informed about your potential destination. Guaratia will be eager to know what you have discovered. And you can read the book again when you talk to reference page over there. Scout the library to your satisfaction, have you? Excellent. Well, there are few books wholly dedicated to the subject of Tural. I dare say you found tidbits of useful information scattered here and there? I have. But come, let's continue this outside. Remember to not take kindly to chatter. Now then, I'm keen to hear your honest impressions. I couldn't help but notice that we read the very same book on cuisine. I was pleasantly surprised to find references to Tural within. Among one, did anything in particular pique your interest? I was overtaken with a tale of Ketanram. Yes, the renowned Lominsan explorer who traversed the Indigo Deep and discovered the unknown West. And his accomplishments didn't end there. He traveled Tural extensively and even forged a friendship with a Dawn servant. If we were able to meet Ketanram, what things could we learn? Alas, all of this happened nigh 80 years ago, so he may no longer be alive to tell his tales. But moving on, did you perchance learn aught about the fauna of Tural? Given your adventuring background, I expect the topic would interest you? Vibers? Ah yes, the great horned beasts kept by the Mamuja who unleashed them on fortified positions to devastating effect. That reminds me, I recall hearing that a few specimens were brought to Vilbrand not long ago. Perhaps it's possible to see them on the island? Could be. I thought I heard familiar voices. Fancy running into you two here. Well, have some research of your own, do you? Aye, we hope to arm ourselves with knowledge that may benefit the Garlean people. Having forged a new trade agreement with Azatan, they will next look to foster relations with other nations. This includes former imperial provinces. In view of this, we hope to find hints in history on how neighbors of differing races and ideologies might engage with one another. And what of the two of you? What endeavor brings you here this day? A potential journey to Tural. A nation composed of disparate peoples of Tural. I dare say this is precisely the kind of example we seek. We do well to read up on Tuliyolal ourselves. The contest, is that we were the only one allowed to help Wuk Lamat? There was no mention of a restriction, as I recall. On the contrary, Wuk Lamat gave us the impression that she could have several champions. I think I know how to make the most of our respite. Follow me, Avano. We have planning to do. Alice, wait! I would seem our plans have changed, if you excuse me. They could never rest on their laurels. Come, let us return to the annex. Okay.
Oh, it's just... Despite all that we've learned, I can't help but feel we've yet to hear the whole story. What about you, my friend? Are you inclined to accept or refuse Wuk Lamat's request?
I'd rather not get involved in politics if I know too little about how they are. We know too little.
If only others had the same good sense.
We simply know too little about this.
If the prospect troubles you, sir, why not consider what you stand to gain instead? That is an exciting journey to a faraway continent. In the course of seeing new lands and meeting new people, you might find yourself moved to help Wuk Lamat after all. And if not, well, you quietly take your leave. A brazen plan, perhaps, but one that befits a veteran adventurer, you must agree. Such a journey would be the envy of many a scholar. Distant as it is, Tural remains largely unknown to us, with only meager records to be found in Numenor. The experiences to be had, all the things you might hear, feel, and think. It's enough to stir me to the core. Life is a series of journeys, my friend, and there's no telling what awaits us on the long road.
I guess you're right.
But what's important is to be true to yourself as you walk it. Only then can we hope to be content when we arrive at the end of one and step forward into another. Ah, but there's an idea. I have a matter to attend to at the Agora. Please, go on inside. I will join you shortly.
Alright. What is he up to? Banquet. Welcome back, Desiree. If you're looking for Wuk Lamat, she is currently with the others in her chambers. If you like, I can go and fetch one for you. No? Fine, yes. Understood, please wait in the main hall. I could go to them, right? Wouldn't that be simpler? No, not for you, then you'd have to make another room, right? Or for the developers, I mean.
You have the look of someone who's made up their mind. Go on then. Let's hear it.
I wish to boldly go where I've never gone before.
Then you need me as much as I need you. Together we'll blaze new trails in Tural.
You're not planning to leave without us, are you? Alphano, Alize! What are you two doing here?
We happened to cross paths at Numenon earlier, you see, and I told them about Wuk Lamat. And when we fortuitously met again at the Agora just now, they expressed an interest in meeting our visitor.
Ah, you must be the twins who are sneaking after Erenville as toads.
100 things about us you could have told her, and you chose that!
First impressions last.
"'Tis an honor and a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Your Highness. Alphano Leveilleur at your service, and this is my sister Alize."
Oh no, let's not do that. I really can't stand titles. So, you want to participate in the contest too, is that right?
Indeed we do. We've been assisting with the rebuilding effort in Garlemald. Yet while progress is being made, the question remains of how the nation might reconcile with its neighbors. We believe there is much we might learn from Tuliyolal, a nation founded on unity. And in return for this honor, we would spare no effort in supporting your claim.
The more the merrier, I say. And I'd be keen to learn about Eorzea and Garlemald from you as well.
Having recruited so many committed and capable allies, I presume you have no need for my continued assistance?
Nonsense! Like I told you before, you're indispensable. They're strong, aye, but strangers to our land. They need someone to guide them, to point out the dangers, and spare them grisly deaths. I can't think of anyone better suited to that task than you. What's more, despite your assertions, I know you haven't given up on the City of Gold.
As I recall, Krile, you were the first to state your desire to visit Tural.
Perhaps I was. Still, I can't help but worry about being away just when our order is beginning to find its feet again.
You have nothing to worry about. I haven't forgotten how you held the fort while I set off to explore Alzadal's legacy. It's only fair that I return the favor. Pray, leave the students to Ojika and me.
But, Raha...
Really?
You want to retrace your grandfather's steps, don't you? This is a rare opportunity, and I insist that you seize it.
Thank you, Raha. Thank you.
Well, looks like it's settled. I'm counting on you all to help me win the throne.
I suppose now is a good time to show you what I spent a small fortune on at the Agora. There. This, my friends, is the latest map of the world, created to celebrate our friendship with the Loporrits. Cast your eyes west of Sharlayan, for there it lies. The site of your next great adventure, Tural.
Still so much covered in mist. Next time we begin the next expansion and go in the direction of Tuliyolal, and so Tuliyolal and basically fantasy South America. I didn't Alphino look older when they're looking in the game. Lest you wonder about your passage to Tural, Eren will arrange a ship for his guild. You need only worry about your own preparations. Speaking of which, please take this with you, a rugged and ready knapsack. May it serve you well on your coming adventures. Now I'm not sure when departure will be, but rest assured I'll let you know when I hear something. Till then, please take your ease. Meanwhile, in Limsa Lominsa.
When does the next ship set sail?
May I ask your destination?
The north and east, I've already seen. I suppose I'll head west this time.
West, you say?
So we might see Astinian as well, because he wants in the same direction, seeking his own adventures. Meanwhile, in Old Charlian, where we just were.
I see you've made up your mind. I had a feeling you'd be keen.
But to think that our comrades too are thither bound. Fate doth work in mysterious ways.
Indeed. It will be a grueling task, having to contend with them.
If the prospect doth trouble thee, 'tis not too late to decline the petition. Though thine expression would suggest thou art far from perturbed.
Oh, how could I possibly be, knowing what's to come?
Then let us delay no further and secure passage on a vessel.
Given that they said they need to contend with us, have they been recruited by another one of the competitors? Maybe the brother Wuk Lamat mentioned who studied here in Charlian?
Aye. This will be a mission to remember. Come, my friend. We make for Tural.
Tell me, have you been to the ruins beneath the waters of the Bounty?
Yes.
Or the treasure islands beyond the frozen waters of Blind Frost in Offerd's north?
No, not yet.
The fabled golden cities of the New World?
Working on that? Weigh anchor now, the tide is high, and dawn of new adventure nigh. Row forth to break horizon's bond, and tread the gilded path beyond. And with that, we are ready for the next expansion. And I say, until next time, I'm Mace, and don't get lost.